Hello! We would like to introduce the WWF Free Rivers app for the school context. It is part of a series of long-term apps developed by WWF. What all these apps have in common is that they raise awareness among learners about the ills of nature. With the augmented reality app WWF Free Rivers, you can take an entire landscape into your hands. Through this in-depth interactive narrative, students can learn how wildlife, people, and entire landscapes depend on healthy flowing rivers. The pupils see what happens when you dam up the river, then try out a sustainable energy mix that keeps them connected to the river while still meeting growing energy needs. The application is easy to understand and use, and there is even a small interactive game waiting for the learners at the end of the first chapter. It is important that the app is used in conjunction with a topic. In our case, a 4th grade class was dealing with the same topic. The river Sotla is to be dammed in the region of Sotelje in order to create a lake, in order to have another attraction for the tourist industry, among others. But the topic of the spread of deserts, also desertification, can also be easily understood with the app. Let's take a closer look at the added value. When learning about the landscape of the region where you live in grade 4 primary school, it is necessary to develop students' awareness of the interdependence of social and natural processes. Knowledge and skills at higher taxonomic levels related to critical thinking are more difficult to achieve for most 9-year-olds because they do not actively participate in the learning process due to the greater difficulty. Appropriate motivation, the active participation of each individual, and the opportunity to work collaboratively make learning more effective. This can be made possible through the meaningful use of this app. In the example of good teaching practice presented here, the pupils were able to illustrate the processes of the water cycle and the interconnectedness of natural and social phenomena in the floodplain landscape more easily and in greater depth in class. Working together, supported by questions on worksheets and augmented reality, they explored the causes and consequences of interventions in the virtual world. They increased their knowledge and updated their social landscape. They critically examined the construction of a barrage in Vonar on the Sotla River to avoid flood risks. They expressed their own views on the changes and foresaw the consequences of the different solutions. We found that most of the students achieved their goals with this approach. They were active both in using the app and in solving the problem at hand. Learning is more effective when the learner is placed at the center and the technology becomes the learning environment and supports the learning. Therefore, it is necessary to start from the objectives, anticipate the activities, and only then choose the appropriate interactive learning environment. This sequence is also schematically represented by the pedagogical wheel. Our aim was to use the app in such a way as to achieve a stage of change according to the SAMR model. Thus, the selection and use of the app resulted in students behaving differently than they would have without the app and in them achieving a higher level of performance. Elements of formative monitoring were integrated into the process, particularly through asking questions to support learning and working together. This allowed for a group dynamic with mutual support and learning. Finally, the students self-assessed their work. As you can see, the WWF Free Rivers app seems at first glance to be just another AR app that you can quickly skim through. However, on closer inspection, it can be turned into a modern teaching-learning environment that we would describe as state-of-art. Try it out for yourself.